Hi, it's Katrina Mitchell with Speak, and I'm here with Brian Schnell of Faegre Baker Daniels. And Brian, I just had the pleasure of attending the 2017 Faegre Baker Daniel Franchise Summit, which is an amazing event. And this year, again, your focus was on the 5 habits of a successful franchisor, and you selected Troy Hazard from our roster to be your keynote speaker. Would you share a little bit with our community about Troy's session and the impact it had on your event?
Sure, Katrina, I'd be delighted to. Thanks for the opportunity. I thought this year Troy really hit it out of the park from a standpoint of what you want to see with a keynote speaker and how he understands the theme or the messages that we're trying to deliver from an overall conference perspective and overall content perspective. What we try to do with the Faegre BD Franchise Summit is really focus on leadership, on what makes a difference, on trying to get franchisors, franchisees, and our supplier vendors together for a day and a half to really make a difference. Talk about what's keeping them up at night and how to design change in a real meaningful way. And so with Troy, he hit it on all cylinders. He spent the time on the front end leading into the conference, talking to me. I know he talked to you, spent some time learning about the franchisors and franchisees that would be attending this year's conference, and really determining how his message and what he's passionate about, how he can take that and make it meaningful to the audience. And so it wasn't about him, it was about them. And the way he was able to deliver that, in large part, because he's been there, done that in franchising. He has unique, real-world experience, both as a franchisor and a franchisee, and just consulting with franchisors around the world. Global industry leaders, emerging franchisors in a lot of different industries. So the work he did on the front end to try to understand the audience and then deliver it in a fun way, in a way with some passion, in a way that was, at times when you have a keynote, I think people tend to get kind of lost somewhere, along the way, and they check out. And you and I heard from one of our emerging franchisor CEOs how meaningful it was to listen to Troy and the nuggets that she took away, not only from the conference, but specifically from Troy and his message about influencing evolution, influencing change. And the point that he made throughout was, if you're not constantly looking at how to evolve and do better, you're not going to survive. And that's half the battle, is just sustaining what you have. And in order to do that, you have to have change on top of mind, and don't just assume that what you had on your top priority list last year should carry over this year. In fact, he talked about how you should toss it out the window and start all over and make those priorities earn their way, back on the list. So again, I think just that, and the way he could describe it in real world perspective rather than theory or more of an esoteric type delivery, really made a difference. And I heard that from a number of our attendees. And so I just can't recommend highly enough for anybody who's looking for a keynote speaker that they give serious and strong consideration to Troy Hazard, because he brings it.
Thank you. Well, I think it's so interesting because this audience for your event was a mix of franchisees and franchise vendors, as well as franchisors. And Troy speaks probably 80% of the time, 90% of the time, he's speaking to franchisee audiences. So kind of similar messages about things that they need to focus on and strategies, but at the franchisee level. So I just want to throw it out there that he does franchising in any aspect. So yeah.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I find, and again, I've now been doing this 30 years, and there are way more opportunities for franchisors and franchisees to fully get aligned with one another and move the brand forward in a very meaningful way. And again, a lot of times that comes from leadership and communication and alignment. And so to be able to hear from other perspectives rather than just get locked into the way they do it within their system. And so to have somebody like Troy be able to deliver that to the franchisor and the franchisees collectively, I think would, in my view, prompt a whole lot of positive conversation going forward on what Troy talks about in his delivery.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate you taking the time to give us this feedback on Troy's session. And again, your event is absolutely one of my very, very favorite events of the entire year and in franchising. And I think you do an outstanding job. And thank you for allowing us to support you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Katrina. You and Speak are a big part of the success. And so we really appreciate everything that you contribute to the event.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.